Anyways, who here wants to talk about autism? Like, just autism. Because RFK Jr. really wants to talk about autism. In fact, he wants to talk about autism so much that he wants to put you on a list for being autistic. And that should terrify you very, very greatly. So, let's go ahead and get to the fan art section so that we can actually have a little bit of levity before we get into this. Zero Life King says, you can't convince me that J.D. Vance isn't one of the four horsemen of the apocalypse. I mean, he literally brought death onto the Pope. I mean, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Anyway, okay. Let's take a look at what we've got here. First bit of fan art we have, well, the only bit we have for right now is from Voidalite. And they said imprisoned for those words, crimes. I'm not going to say what those words were. But yeah, apparently there's Jail Chan, because we have to have Jail Chan art. Why is every inanimate object and random turn of phrase on my channel transformed into a waifu? I will never understand you people. You're too horny. Anyways, thank you for your fan art. I appreciate it. If any of you want your fan art to be shown in a future video, the best way to do so is to drop it into the fan art section of the Discord. That said, let's go ahead and take a look at what we have here. The National Institute of Health is amassing private medical records. What is this thing right here? Go away. The National Institute of Health is amassing private medical records from a number of federal and commercial databases to give to Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. in order to help with his new study on autism. The study that, might I remind you, is coming from the guy who sold t-shirts about unvaccinated babies saying unvaxxed and proud. This is a man who should not have access to any records involving autism. The things this man is going to do with those records scares me. The new data will allow external researchers picked for Kennedy's autism studies to study comprehensive patient data with broad coverage of the U.S. population for the first time. Yeah, first time we've ever done broad studies on autism. No, it's not. We've been doing this research for years. The idea of the platform is that the existing data resources are often fragmented and difficult to obtain. The NIH itself will often pay multiple times for the same data resource. Even data resources that are within the federal government are difficult to obtain, he said in a presentation to the agency's advisors. Medication records from pharmacy chains, lab testing, and genomics data from patients treated by the Department of Veterans Affairs and Indian Health Service, claims from private insurers, and data from smartwatches and fitness trackers will all be linked together. Why? When did any of us agree to give you the data from our fucking watches, okay? Why are you doing this? What are you doing? The NIH is also now in talks with the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services to broaden agreements governing access to their data. Ah, yes, HIPAA agreements don't fucking matter anymore. That's great. That's fantastic. That's just wonderful. I love it here. I love it here in America. Don't you love it here? In America? Isn't it great? Don't you like your HIPAA rights being violated? Don't you like the man that sold freaking baby t-shirts about being unvaccinated and proud? Don't you think that that man having access to your personal medical records is nothing but a good thing? I have no idea why you think that one of the men who wants to be responsible for another resurgence in measles, I don't see how having access, or him having access to that data, can be anything but positive for all of us. In addition, a new disease registry is being launched to track Americans with autism, which will be integrated into the data. Fucking kill me. Fucking But no, seriously. It goes on to say that medical experts and advocacy groups have already called out RFK for describing autism as a preventable disease, which it is not. None of the data on autism in any way, shape, or form leads us to believe that this is a preventable disease. It's not even a disease. Between 10 and 20 outside groups of researchers will be given grant funding and access to the records to produce Kennedy's autism studies. A word I cannot pronounce did not give details on how they would be chosen, but said that their selection would run through normal NIH processes. Again, the word I cannot pronounce said the research they will back using the data will be the highest quality proposals that will range from basic science to epidemiological approaches to other more applied approaches to treat and manage autism. Yes, just go ahead and take your autism pill. It'll cure the tism. I bet. He also acknowledged autism's wide variation in how it affects people. He says, I recognize, of course, that autism, there's a range of manifestations ranging from highly functioning children to children that are quite severely disabled. And, of course, the research will account very carefully for that. Yes, while also calling all of those children diseased. That's certainly going to be great for their upbringing. When Chandler says, is America fascist yet? Yes. Yes, we meet most of the criterion. Under the Trump regime, we meet most of the criterion. Sombrina says, it's Bhattacharya? That is so cute and quirky. Word I can't pronounce. While the selected researchers will be able to access and study the private medical data, Bhattacharya said that they will not be able to download it. He promised state-of-the-art protections to protect confidentiality. State-of-the-art protections. Meanwhile, they've grabbed all of that data. This is like when you take that agreement from a website that says, oh, we just want to scrape your browser for data. We want to find out about all your search history. And don't worry, we're not going to broker that data to anybody. And 20 fucking minutes later, whatever you last searched is going to be on the advertising tab on the right side, which is really weird for people like me and my search history, because it doesn't know if it needs to be sending me guns, Magic the Gathering cards, or sending me copious amounts of hentai porn. It has no idea which one of those, or which strange variation of those it needs to amalgamize to send to me. By bringing the data into one place, he said it could give health agencies a window into real-time health monitoring on Americans for studying other health problems too. What we're proposing is a transformative real-world data initiative, which aims to provide a robust and secure computational platform for chronic disease and autism research. They are planning a rapid timeline to launch the autism research using this data, he said, but did not give any specifics on when it would start or how long the studies would take. Kennedy last week appeared to walk back his earlier prediction that they would have all the answers to autism's causes by September. Why? Hold on. Did he actually think that? What? No, you can't be that stupid. Let's see here, dude. September. Kennedy, a longtime vaccine critic who has pushed a discredited theory that routine childhood shots cause developmental disabilities, said the effort will be completed by September. It involves hundreds of scientists. Oh, we'll learn? By September, we'll know everything there is about the autism. Okay, sure. Then he walked it back to, we'll have some of the ideas by September, but it's going to be an evolving process. Or since it's RFK Jr., we'll have some of the answers by September. Sorry, I can't divorce his actual voice from the voice used for him in the episode from Meat Canyon that featured him, Charlie Kirk, and JD Vance. I can't. And you know what? Just because this joke does not work unless I actually show it. Give me just a second here. What is... I don't remember looking this... Why is this where my thing went? Anyway, it said Nightmare Blunt Rotation. This is the only thing I can think of when I think of that man.
Your baby, ma'am? Let me take a look. Take. Gucci goo. Are you autistic, little boy? Do you have a peanut allergy? Here, eat this peanut and tell me how you feel. Oh, God. His throat's closed. He's definitely autistic.
That's the only thing I can think of when I think of RFK Jr. now. I cannot divorce who he probably is as an actual person from... Let me see your baby. Is your baby autistic? Let me jam a peanut down their throat. You definitely have the autism. Then why are his teeth blue? So I don't know why his teeth are blue, but if I were to make a guess, something colloidal silver joke. That's my best guess. Hey, Charles Champ says, also, didn't the Kennedys have an autistic member of the family they gave a lobotomy because they found them to be an embarrassment and wanted them to be easier to control? What? I don't know if that's the case, and I don't have any... What? I've never heard about that. Hold on. This is going to get all kinds of conspiracy shit in my thing, right? Kennedy, autistic, lobotomy, or weird fetish shit. Oh my god! What? It is now believed that Rosemary may have autism related to her HIE. However, in the early 20th century, society lacked the understanding, acceptance, and resources we have today. After a failed lobotomy pushed by her family in her 20s in an attempt to mitigate behavioral and cognitive concerns, Rosemary spent much of her life in institutional care away from the public. The lobotomy caused severe disabilities, rendering her without a voice and unable to walk. What? But what? Okay, so that's creepy. Yep, that's not a conspiracy. That's just a thing that happened. Man, the Kennedys are kind of fucked up. Just a little bit. Also, we're going to do a thing where we look at Twitter for a bit of a minute. And I try not to look at Twitter other than when I went onto Twitter to wish Claire, formerly Proton John, a happy coming out day in these trying times. Because the only place we've ever done correspondence is Twitter. But, let's see, the very first thoughts... Why would one want a registry for people with autism? I can only think of one reason. Eugenics. Why? Do they want to ship them to El Salvador too? This person is asking Grok to explain. RFK Jr.'s autism registry aims to track Americans with autism to study environmental causes, collecting medical records from pharmacies, insurers, and smartwatches managed by the NIH. It's controversial due to privacy concerns and unrealistic timelines, like finding causes by September. Grok's actually on point today. Autism groups like the Autism Science Foundation criticize it for stigmatizing autism as a disease and ignoring its complex genetic and environmental roots. Experts advocate for support services, not prevention-focused data collection, warning of ethical issues and public health risks from RFK Jr.'s rhetoric. Man, that's really weird. Grok's actually on point today. Okay. Some are farm camps. Those aren't farms. They are slave fields. RFK wants to send autistic people to farms. Oh my... Why are we in this timeline? Guitar Rocker says, these people will ask Grok for something instead of doing their own research. True. It is at least it is better than them shooting from the hip. Like, okay, in the world of things you can do in response to being presented with something challenging, the best thing you can do is start doing research on it, but, like, hip firing with no data is the worst thing you can do. So at least asking an AI about it is one step above that. Let's see what he wants to do here. In a clip from July 2024 virtual town hall that recirculated online, Health and Human Services Secretary Robert RFK Jr., douchebag Kennedy Jr., there we go, argues that the U.S. should combat addiction by opening wellness farms to help people get off opioids, antidepressants, and stimulants. Kennedy says that people taking medications for conditions like depression and ADHD, along with those living with addiction, could spend 3 or 4 years growing organic produce on these farms to be reparented and reconnect with communities. That's just slave labor for taking SSRIs or taking ADHD meds. What? I feel like if he ever gets something like this set up, the ethical thing to do is to burn it, right? RFK Jr. went on to declare during his confirmation that a healthy person has 1,000 dreams, while the sick person has only one, implying that the only dream a disabled person can have of is being cured. I'm fairly certain that there's plenty of people in this chat who would qualify as disabled for, like, a variety of reasons, who have way more dreams than just being better. Like, I can think of a few, right? In April, he had a speech addressing the epidemic of autism affecting children. He says autism destroys families. There are kids who will never pay taxes, never hold a job. But my girlfriend does pay taxes. And she does have a job. She's an OnlyFans model. And she has autism. They'll never play baseball. I'm pretty sure my girlfriend's played baseball. They'll never write a poem. Pretty sure my girlfriend's done plenty of writing. And they'll never go out on a date. But again, my girlfriend has autism. And we go out on a date every Sunday. And we went out on a pseudo date today. And I made out with her on the porch after we got rid of a bunch of meat from the freezer. What? Raider Static says, what's your girlfriend's OnlyFans? Saki_Nightshade. The gal with the plan says kickball is the superior game. Have you heard about pickleball? Pickleball. Guitar Rocker says, I have a relationship partner, so the never go out on a date thing is bullshit. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't understand this. Also, again, like, many of them will never use a toilet unassisted. What? Does he not actually understand what autism is? Does he not know what autism is at all? Jet Fatigue says, Suris is definitely a wife guy. What the fuck do you mean? What is a wife guy? So this is just ableism? Yeah. Stop says, I have multiple partners and we're all autistic. We go on dates with each other just fine. Jesus Christ. They said, I think it means you like your wife. Jesus. Thanks, RFK. Thank you, buddy. Said RFK doesn't understand the concept of how a spectra works. Look, this is me sometimes, okay?
I miss my wife, Tails. I miss her a lot.
That's me sometimes, okay? That's me. Also, Bonbon, hello, hi. Oh, why is the TV still there? Go away. Ouroboros says toilet unassisted, so he's literally saying whatever he thinks and nothing else. Yep. Get the Fluffy One says, how could anyone like who they're dating? It's weird, right? Suris wife guy confirmed. Jet Fatigue still has not clarified what wife guy means. Jesus. Zamian, thank you for redeeming your points for an ada. You fucking degenerate, especially you. Oh, also, Zamian, I am terribly sorry, but some of the deer that you gave me does not exist anymore. Because, woke up today to the freezer doing a snafu. And, like $500 of meat is now gone. So, not super thrilled about all that. So I apologize that some of that deer is now spoiled. Zoe Bascular says it means a guy who really loves his wife, kind of like Gomez Adams. Fair, I guess. Bonbon says $500 of meat in this economy. Look, we have a freezer that only has the job of long-term storing food. And it's gone. It is got freezer snap food. So the whole freezer's worth of food. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of wasted food. Dude, Species Dama says wife guy. A man who takes any opportunity to mention his wife. Hey guys, did I mention that I have a really, really cute girlfriend? We've been together 2 years now. It's great. Anyway. So, that's RFK Jr. Sending people with addiction to camps and trying to make lists for autistic people. I can't think of any reason why any of that should raise alarm bells for anyone. Insert end of video tagline here. Hey, thanks for making it to the end of the video. I really could not do any of this without all of you. Those of you watching, and especially those of you who support me on Patreon. I wanted to go ahead and take a minute to thank all of you who do that, because with YouTube being what it is these days, I really cannot do this full time without the support from each and every one of you. Those people would be Red Joker, Purple Poundini, Jemshin, Britzkrieg, Jupe the Malignant, Michael, Ravalern, Mabbity Babbity, Astral Frontier, Tales of Atonement, Nixie Chan, Kiri Artemis, Victorian Alchemist, I'm not saying the last part of that, and you know that, Leela Ururaka, Arcton Arclacier, Kiratorian, Dren Hadamata, Jordan M, John L, Lord Bleck, Smiling Game Master, and Fireshard. Thank you so very much. But since you're here, why not go ahead and try watching another one? There should be one that's on the screen right now. And if you are a patron of mine, I wanted to go ahead and thank you again for all of your support. There is still a video you could press though, if you'd like. I would appreciate it just a little bit.